All right, it's time for week 10 of the Lance's Lock podcast, brought to you by lanceslock.com. As we enjoy some cold Bud Lights, we're ready to talk a little college football. He's Lance Taylor of lanceslock.com in the next round. I'm Jim Dunaway. I'm here simply to walk you through this. And we've got a lot of games to play coming up in a pretty good slate of games. Some upsets are out there. We'll talk about that. But first, tell us how we can all be a part of lanceslock.com.
Yeah, jump on board. lanceslock.com. We'll give you a free play each and every day. This is year 6 of our existence of the website. Again, you get a free play every day at lanceslock.com. It's only $90 per month. So $3 per day. Simple math. You get absolutely everything. NBA, college basketball will be starting up next weekend. We've got the NFL side and totals, college football side and totals. Just to let you know, college football, the last 2 Saturdays, 7-4 2 weeks ago. Last Saturday, 9-5. We're already 2-1 this week in college football. So we started to get this thing dialed in. We're going to win for you. Jump on board, lanceslock.com.
All right, let's jump in. And some interesting games in the 11 o'clock window, which you traditionally as a player do not love, but there are some games here that should have some impact, maybe in the college football playoffs, maybe at least reputation-wise in the SEC. Wake Forest in North Carolina in Chapel Hill, 11 o'clock on ABC. Wake Forest is unbeaten. It's 2 ACC teams, but it's not a conference game. It's an out-of-conference game per the schedule. But this game is important for Wake if they keep any hope alive of going to the playoffs.
Yeah, they would have to have mass chaos in front of them for them to go 13-0 and to win the ACC championship and to somehow find their way into this college football playoff. They've got a really difficult November, and it starts with North Carolina, a 4-4 team that's still really talented, and it starts with their quarterback, Sam Howell. I don't know if this total can be high enough. You know, watching Wake a couple of weeks ago against Army, it was every possession someone scored. And Wake, although the offense has been really good under Dave Clawson, sometimes the defense leaves a little to be desired. You're going against Sam Howell, an experienced quarterback that can make big-time plays. Typically, you know, I'm a contrarian. I would play against the public and play the unranked favorite here. I'm not touching it because it's 11 o'clock. I swore them off after last week. The play here is North Carolina. I think Wake's the better team. If any of this makes sense to gamblers, it will. So I'm staying away from it. I think your play is North Carolina, but I like Wake Forest.
All right. Interesting there. lanceslock.com. Remember, we tape these on Friday. It is Saturday morning at lanceslock.com where you can get the final play. Liberty and Ole Miss, out-of-conference game for the Rebels, coming out after a loss to Auburn on the road. Where's Ole Miss right now mentally, and what do you like in this game?
You know, Matt Corral, I just thought he was off against the Auburn Tigers last week in that 11-point loss. And, you know, I thought Lane Kiffin made some bad coaching decisions. And if I'm going head coach to head coach, I think Liberty and Hugh Freeze, they've got the advantage there. I think Ole Miss is going to be flat. It's an 11 o'clock game. This is one of those I would definitely play. If I was playing 11 o'clocks, I would definitely play Liberty plus the points. I think this is going to be an extremely tight game. I think Malik Willis will have a field day against this defense. And again, I don't think Corral's healthy.
SMU Memphis at 11 o'clock is another game you say keep an eye on. Let's go Michigan State Purdue into the 2:30 window. ABC, obviously Michigan State, as high as they are right now, would be in the college football playoffs if it ended last week. Purdue's already done it once to Iowa. Can they do it again?
I think they can with this defense. And you look at Michigan State, they're 8-0 for the first time since 2015 when they went to their one and only college football playoff. Another interesting 8 number. They've won 8 consecutive games against Purdue. But Purdue's defense, they're number 10 overall. They've got 10 takeaways their last 3 games, and Aiden O'Connell is playing really good football. He's completed over 75% of his passes in 3 consecutive games, and I think you can have success against that Michigan State defense. I think the opportunistic defense on Saturday will be the Boilermakers. I like Purdue giving Michigan State that first loss.
Auburn, Texas A&M in a second, but first tell us how we can get all the plays and not just college football.
Yeah, again, lanceslock.com. Jump on board. We're going to win for you. We were 2-2 in the NFL last week. Again, we're 2-1 this week in college football. We were 9-5 last Saturday. We were 7-4 the Saturday before. Should have been 4-0 in the NFL this past Sunday. Had some bad breaks, ended up going 2-2. We're going to win for you there. We're going to win for you in college football. Again, we give you a free play each and every day. Go to lanceslock.com for that. It's only $90 per month for absolutely everything.
Some of Bo Nix's best performances this year, LSU, Arkansas, have been on the road. He backed it up with a good home game against Ole Miss. He's playing great football. Going to the site where Alabama lost this year, Kyle Field. And interesting enough, Auburn all-time 4-0 at Kyle Field.
Yeah, the road team's won 8 of the last 9 in this series since A&M joined the conference back in 2011. You look at Bo Nix, as good as he's been this year, he's played some of his worst football, although they were wins against A&M. He's passed for less than 150 yards in both of those games against A&M. But you look in back-to-back wins against Ole Miss and Arkansas, he's completed 77% of his passes, 568 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He's rushed for 72 yards with 3 touchdowns. He's been really, really good. And on the other side, Jimbo, 2-7. This is straight up in ranked matchups since he's been at A&M. The only wins were last year against Florida and North Carolina in that bowl game. So ranked versus ranked, A&M hasn't been good. I lean Auburn here. I think it's a tough game. I wonder why the number's 5. That number should be 3. So I think you're getting a little value here with the Auburn Tigers.
Speaking of value, LT says keep an eye on Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Penn State, Maryland. Some potential there as you go to lanceslog.com and make your plays on Saturday. Moving to another late afternoon game, I want to throw this in. No playoff impact at all. But I don't know where Arkansas is right now. And, boy, all of a sudden, since getting beat down by Alabama, Mississippi State's reputation has gotten better. Mississippi State at Arkansas, 3 o'clock on the SEC Network. I don't know what to make of this game.
I don't either. They're just so unpredictable, Mississippi State is, and Arkansas has just been off the radar. I still think these 2 really good teams, and especially when they play their best football. I mean, we saw this Arkansas team beat Texas by double digits. They beat A&M by double digits. They should have beaten Ole Miss. And Mississippi State, loses by 40 to Alabama, but they can look so good in spots. Arkansas, the number, it opened at 5.5. It went all the way to 6. It's down to 4.5 right now. I think I play Arkansas. I just don't know if I'm confident they're able to. I'd feel much better if this game was 3, but I think I lean Arkansas. I don't feel great about it. Mississippi State, just quick note, they've won 4 consecutive games in Fayetteville.
Wow.
But I do like Arkansas a little bit.
Well, Will Rogers has been putting up some numbers. Okay, 3 more games, 2 in the SEC and 1 out in the Pac-12. Let's do LSU, Alabama over in Tuscaloosa. It's a huge number. Boy, to me, this is, does Nick Saban want to cover or not?
Yeah, I agree with you. You look at Alabama, since losing to A&M, they've outscored their opponents 101-33. They've won 41 of their last 42 home games. The one loss, 2019 LSU. And I think that's one of the factors here. 68% of the money is on Alabama. I'm a contrarian. I'm going to play Alabama. I like Alabama in this spot. I think they can name their score. Alabama's so good on third downs. Right now, 58% they're converting on third downs. That's the best in the FBS.
Well, all that's Bryce Young, by the way.
Yeah, it really is all Bryce Young. But I do think the receivers, you've got a solid back in B-Rob. The offensive line, again, the right side's been shaky. But Mechie is starting to play like we believe Mechie was going to play. And I think coming off this bye, they're going to be refreshed. And I think Nick Saban will remind them, if you need a little motivation, as long as we win out, we're going to be fine. But let's put pedal down here and let's take care of business. And, I think this is a 28, 35-point game at halftime. And then we'll see what happens second half.
Wow, interesting right there. Also interesting is Tennessee in Lexington to play Kentucky. And it's been a disappointing year, I think, for Kentucky. And I think right now, 2 wins away from bowl eligibility, it feels better being a Tennessee fan.
It's funny you say that. And I don't necessarily disagree because, Kentucky should be 7-1, but they're 6-2. And can you imagine 10 years ago if we would have said Kentucky's number 18 nationally in November, they're 6-2, and it's been disappointing. But the offense, when they brought Liam Cohen in to kind of open this up and Will Levis transfers from Penn State, you bring in a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, you thought the offense would be much better. And in spots early on, it looked like that. Chris Rodriguez still leads the SEC in rushing. It just hasn't been a good offense. 3 of the last 4 games, they've been held under 250 total yards of offense. Tennessee, on the other hand, seems like they found their quarterback. Hendon Hooker is making plays. This thing opened. In some spots, it was Kentucky 2.5. It's gone. Tennessee is now -1.
Wow.
Tennessee is the favorite on the road. Tennessee used to own this series. They won 31 of 32 between 85 and 2016. They've split their last 4. I lean Tennessee here. I don't love this game. I think it will go to the wire, but I lean Tennessee just based on offense.
All right, the last one will be out in the Pac-12, Oregon, with playoff implications at Washington in Seattle. LanceIsLog.com. Go to the website. You can find out how to sign up there. Last play of the day, 6:30 ABC, Oregon and Washington.
Okay, so you gave me a stat that Oregon, the last 9 out, favored. They are 0-9 against the number. They are favored here. The number went from 6.5 to 7. I also found this. These teams have met 50 times since 1969. Each has won 25. So 25 and 25.
Wow.
The average margin is less than 2 points. in these matchups. So Oregon and Washington have been extremely close games. Oregon has won the last 2 by a total of 7 points. I think Washington will come to play. I think Jimmy Lake's defense will give Anthony Brown a lot of trouble. Oregon has been skating by. These one-possession games, they find ways to win. Even if they win this game, I think it's a one-possession game. So I think you can even buy that hook. I think the way it's moving, you might even get Washington at 7.5. I like the Huskies here.
Remember, we record this on Friday, so check back before kick time at 11 Central on Saturday at lanceslock.com to get the final plays from Lance. That's our Lance's Lock podcast for Week 10.